Hello, everyone. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to another episode of the Back of the Pack podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Walker. My pleasure as always. Thanks for tuning in this week. Always appreciate it. Hope everyone had a great week of training. Good races this past weekend. There was the Carry A Nation 5K that was going on. There was the Depot Dash that was also out there as well. So everyone had some options. I hope you had a good time. I know Saturday morning was muggy, super muggy. I actually did a lot of yard work that day. It was no fun at all. But I do think I lost about 20 pounds worth of sweat. So, victories. We'll go with that, right? So, the first big order of today, and I just learned this today, so I'm excited to share it with you. The lottery and registration is open for the 2024 Tokyo Marathon. So, if you have any thoughts, hopes, desires of making it into the Tokyo Marathon, you have from now, which as I sit here and record this is August 14th. Happy birthday to my youngest daughter, Caitlin. You have between now, August 14th, and August 25th to submit yourself for the Tokyo Marathon in 2024. It is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Their site is not really user friendly for all of us over here, in the West, shall we say. If you go to their social media, the best luck I had entering my name was through Facebook, and you can see all their posts. You will also see where it says English to follow. And when you find the registration post, click on English to follow. You will see it. Then they have a link to take you to their English speaking site for registration. It was not a difficult registration once you get to the right spot. Very standard questions. You do not give any financial information as it is now. You are simply submitting your name. And if you are chosen, then you will, of course, have to pay. But your chances of getting chosen are smaller for Tokyo than they even are for London. London is at 4%. You have less of a chance now. So, you rolling the dice here, but if enough people do it, someone might make it, and then we can all cheer you on, and that would be really super great. So that's the big thing right now. Go ahead and register. Throw your name in the hat for the Tokyo Marathon if you have any desires to get to the 6 stars. And if you do, best of luck to you. I have submitted my name, of course. I expect nothing. I expect the rejection. I guess what they say, was it October 3rd, October 5th? Anyway, sometime in early October is when they're going to announce who's in and who's out. So you don't have to wait a very long time. It's not like London where it takes months and months for them to compile their information. Tokyo, it's going to take, well, from when registration closes, it takes about 5 weeks. And then we'll all know. So best of luck. I hope you guys make it if you submit your names. That would be really super great. Would love to see some of our running family and friends over there doing Tokyo. Even if it's not me, I will root for you the entire way if you're lucky enough to get in. Next up, coming up this weekend is the big race that I've been talking about for weeks now. Our great and good friends over at Baby J's Legacy of Hope will be doing Rexy Run. That is down in Lawrence. That is Saturday morning, August 19th, and I want you all to be there. Please be there. I will be there. I am excited to run this race. It's a great cause. They are great people, and so there is still time. I saw the post even today that there is still time for you to register, get signed up, and get yourself down Saturday morning to Rexy Run. And you can run the 5K or the 8K. That's a new distance that they have this year, is an 8K. So I think that's, I don't know, my math is terrible at this. It's somewhere between 4.5, 5 miles, somewhere in there, maybe 5.5. It's in that area. So if you want just a little bit more than a 5K, want to stretch it out, you can do the 8K. You can still get signed up. So please, even if it's last minute, get yourself signed up and go do this race down in Lawrence on Saturday. So we've got that coming up. Then we are cruising into the end of summer. Well, I know. We're going to be smashing right into Labor Day weekend. There are several races there. I think, I've got ahead of myself. No, next weekend is the Going the Distance 5K. That's on Sunday. There's another race on Saturday. So there's a lot of running options next weekend. And then we go into Labor Day. So we're about 2 weeks away from Labor Day weekend, the unofficial end of summer, the unofficial start of fall. And once we get into September, for everyone doing the Heartland 30K series, it is game on. Like we'll be racing every weekend, and these aren't just little piddly nothing races. These are big races. including the KC Hustle Run on September 17th, Plaza 10K on September 10th, the Boulevard 10K on the 24th. I'm sorry. I realize I just did that out of order, but I don't care. You know anyway. So we got a lot coming up. I hope everyone is starting to get geared up and get mentally ready for fall running season. Today, on this Monday of which I'm recording, we are having an unseasonably cool day. We are having a beautiful day as it is. It's a 76 degrees right now. There's no humidity, nice breeze, overcast. It almost feels like fall. I know this is a teaser. They said the heat returns this weekend, but for today and tomorrow, we get just this little tiny glimpse of fall. And I tell you, I am absolutely loving it. Feels great. It's wonderful outside. Those days are coming. I think we're closer to the fall cooler days. We're closer to that than we are to the excessive heat that we've had to deal with. I think there's more hot days behind us than there are in front of us. Hopefully we're going to cool down. And that just makes training so much easier. I know I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But man, for the sake of just training and being comfortable while you're running, let's get to fall. Let's get that cool weather, pretty please. I am looking forward to it. I know that this week I said that I was going to do a product review, and I really wanted to. That sounded like fun. And I was going to sit here, and as I sat here with all of you watching, I was going to open a big box, and I was going to pull out brand new running shoes. And they were going to be pretty and amazing, and they were going to make me faster than Eliud Kipchoge, and I was going to start winning awards and races, all because I got new shoes. If you're as old as I am, you think back to the pumps. If I had pumps, I would get pump shoes, and I'd be stronger and faster and run faster and jump higher. But I went to the store to get my shoes. I went to one of the local running shops. I like to try and shop local, although they're really not that local anymore, as they were bought out by a nationwide brand. And I went to get my shoes, and the poor young man there, he went in back, told him exactly what I wanted. He's like, I'll go get you some options. I said, cool, let's go. I'm super excited. He comes back, he's like, we don't have any. What you talking about, Willis? What do you mean we don't have any? They had no shoes in my size, in my width, and with what I needed to have it. Now, I need, certain size. I need wide because I absolutely have runner's feet. If you run enough, your feet flatten out and they get wider. Trust me, that's happened to all of us. And I need stability shoes because when my feet walk, they don't hit flat. They roll inward with every step. If you're watching the video, you see my really awesome hand motions here that probably make no sense to anyone watching out of context. And now I'm playing with the camera. But yeah, I roll in. So I need what they call stability shoes. No big deal. Every running shop has those. Apparently not every running shop has them in my size now. He had none in a 13 wide stability shoe. First time I've ever had this problem. Normally they are carrying out 5, 6, 7 boxes. We've got Saucony, we've got Brooks, we've got Nike, we've got Adidas. Puma has been thrown out there before, and Under Armour. This time, nothing. Big old goose egg. So I do not yet have new running shoes. Now, how do I know I need new running shoes? Okay, well, as we know, running shoes don't last forever. When you are putting constant pounding on these shoes, like they have a shelf life. And a lot of times that is recommended at 300, well, depending on your weight. If you are a more heavy set individual, such as myself, you don't get to the 500 miles. You really don't get to the 400 miles. The limit on my shoes are about 300 miles. That is what you get. Now, no, I do not track this religiously. I did, when I got these new shoes, enter them into the Strava app. If you have Strava, you can put in your shoes, put in what they are, put in the day that you start wearing them. And then if you're doing a run, you say, hey, I used this shoe, and it helps to track your miles. So Strava over the weekend said, hey, man, you have hit your mile marker. I know that's true because I've worn these shoes and not always turned on the app. So even though they say I'm over my 300, I know that I'm well over my 300 because I've used them even without using the app. But how did I really know? And honestly, this has happened to me many times before, and it's never registered, or it never registers in time, shall we say. I finally get there. I get there. I might be slow, but I get there. But it's never in time to not do the damage that I do. When my shoes go, and my shoes no longer are giving me the padding and support that I need, it's in my knees. It feels like my knees have just suddenly gone from whatever my current age is to 89. And no offense if you are 89 and you have great knees, good on you. I don't have great knees at my current age, and I imagine they're not going to be any better then. But I just can feel it in my knees. And where I felt it was at the Rock Island Trail Half Marathon. Ever since that race, I have had knee pain since coming off that course. Seemed odd, did not put two and two together, although you would think I could or that I would, because this has happened before. So it got me thinking, and this is what we're going to talk about today. Shoes, and when the shoes go. How do you know your shoes aren't right? And again, normally I stay away from product stuff unless I announce I'm going to do it, because I'm not an expert and nobody is sponsoring me, okay? There is not one shoe company on God's green earth that is going to send me a pair of shoes and say, Kyle, we like what you're doing so much and your podcast is so successful. Please have these shoes and tell everyone what you think about it. That has not ever happened, nor will I expect it ever to happen. So I'm looking up here. It's like, how do we know if our shoes they're either wrong or they're used up? Because for me, it's knee pain, but people respond very differently to, say, crappy shoes. So here we go. Here's our list, because I like the list here. These are the list of all the issues you can have, injuries and whatnot, when your shoes aren't right. So listen to this. If you start checking boxes, be like, oh, well, this is correct and this is correct and that's correct. Okay, you might have a problem with your shoes. Might be time for some new shoes. Might be time to go see a walking expert or running expert who can tell you what you need in a shoe versus what you don't, what you want, what they recommend. And again, I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to try and sit here and tell you, oh, you need this, this, and this, because I'd be wrong. But I can tell you that if you have some of these, you might want to look at your shoe situation. So here we go. Here's 16 things. Do you know your problem with the shoe? Problem with the shoe, man. All right, number one, and this is under the no duh category. Running is uncomfortable and or painful. What? Running is a physical activity. No kidding. And there will always be some discomfort with exercise. No kidding again, especially for beginners. The important distinction here is mild discomfort and fatigue caused by muscle use and moderate to severe discomfort and or pain while running. If your feet hurt with every step, especially if you notice swelling, you probably need different shoes. The same is true if you experience pain like plantar fasciitis, a stabbing pain in the bottom of your foot near the heel, or an inflamed heel. Next one, constant blisters and calluses. All right, I might take exception with part of this here in a second. Let's see what they say. Your running shoes should not be causing blisters and calloused skin. Contrary to popular belief, running shoes should not require a substantive break-in period to be comfortable. Definitely agree with that. It's common to develop some blisters from new shoes, but if it happens continuously, that's a problem. Blisters and calluses can be a sign that the shoes either are suited for your foot shape or that the size is wrong. As well, if an old pair of shoes is leading to skin irritation like blisters and calluses, that's a sign the shoes are too old and need to be replaced. Now, the blisters, I absolutely agree with, 100%, no question. Calluses, I find that surprising because if you were to look at my feet, I am nothing but calluses. That's just from a lifetime of physical activity, playing sports, now running, and everything in between. I don't know, calluses are kind of the way to go. I feel like that actually toughens up the feet. But you know what? I have a hair that's driving me crazy off the side of my hat. Other than that, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a foot expert, podiatrist, if you will tell me that I'm wrong and tell me how to correct this problem. But I have very calloused feet because, you know, I'm very tough. I'm so tough. Such a tough guy. Next one, hammer toes. This doesn't sound pleasant at all. Hammer toe is a condition that causes the second, third, or fourth toe to bend downward rather than straight forward. It's a deformity caused by the muscles and ligaments around your toe joint being imbalanced. This can be caused by ill-fitting shoes. It's a condition that is easily reversible in the early stages, but if left untreated, can require surgery to correct. So again, hammer toe, that can totally be a thing and does not sound great at all. Every runner is going to laugh at this next one. Toenail issues. Wearing the wrong running shoes can cause various issues with your toes and your toenails. Jogger's toe is a condition that causes the blackening of your toenail due to stress. In some cases, a runner's toenail can fall off, which can be painful and in rare cases lead to infection. If your toes are touching the end of the inside of your shoe, or if there's little room to move or wiggle them, then your shoes are too tight. Next one is bunions. Like hammer toe, bunions are a deformity that can be caused by wearing shoes that don't fit properly. Bunions appear as a hard bump on the side of your okay, I think they left out a word. Side of your toe at the base of your big toe and are an abnormality. I'm going to get through this eventually. In the foot bones caused by pressure on the foot joint over time. The condition is very common but can become painful and in severe cases could require surgery to correct. Okay. Next one, changes to your gait. And I think a lot of people are going to be like, uh-oh, on this one. Incompatible running shoes can encourage poor running form. If after a run you notice a change in your gait or walking pattern, especially if accompanied by pain, then you are wearing the wrong running shoes. Oh, good. Sirens going off outside. That's lovely. I live on a quiet street. Now there's sirens going off. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. The next one, neuroma. Morton's neuroma is a painful condition that affects the ball of your foot, typically between the third and fourth toes. Neuroma, or a pinched nerve, as it's commonly called, is a thickening of the nerve tissue and results from a nerve being disrupted either by injury or pressure. Morton's neuroma is specific to feet and is usually caused by wearing shoes that are too tight. Okay, never heard of that one before, but that's a good one. Excessive foot sweat, not counting if you're at Rock Island, because if you did Rock Island half marathon, you sweat everywhere up to and including your feet. Excessive foot sweat. No one likes sweaty feet. Feet that feel uncomfortably sweaty after a run may be a sign that your shoes lack sufficient ventilation. It can also be another sign that the shoes are too tight. Wearing sweaty shoes is uncomfortable and awkward. Dry running shoes are much better and can lead to other issues like odor and fungus. Again, Rock Island notwithstanding, because it was hot, if I hadn't told you before. I can still see. Let's see. Oh, there it is. If you're watching YouTube, there's the medal for Rock Island. Oh, darn that hot race. Next one, tendinitis. Developing tendinitis can be painful, especially in the foot. Tendinitis is when a tendon, the tissues that connect muscle to bone, becomes inflamed or injured. Running with the wrong footwear can cause tendinitis in your ankle, feet, or back of your heel, the Achilles tendon. This is another problem caused by fit, usually because there's too much foot movement when you step. I know some of these it's too tight. Now this is too loose. You got to go all Goldilocks and find it right in the middle. Scrolling. All right, let's see. The following signs suggest it's time to reconsider your shoe size and fit. You need to loosen the laces to get your shoes off. Shoes that fit properly should be able to be pulled off even when tied. Really? If you need to loosen the laces just to pull your shoe off, it's too snug. Okay, didn't know that. Toe issues. Wearing the wrong running shoes can cause a myriad of toe problems, including deformities like hammer toe and bunions. When the toenail repeatedly makes contact with the inside of the shoe, this can lead to bruising and blood blisters, which eventually can cause the toenail to fall off completely. These toe conditions are almost always caused by shoes that are too tight, although keeping the toenails trimmed helps too. Pain in your arches, in the back of your heel or calves. If after a run you feel aching in your arches, your Achilles tendon, or your hamstrings, it could be because your foot isn't able to bend naturally in your shoes. Your foot has a flex point, the spot where it bends naturally. You want to make sure your shoe's flex point matches up. Shoes that are too big or too small won't. This is stuff I did not know. I am learning things here. I hope you are as well. The heel doesn't fit. Although your heel should have some movement within the shoe, you don't want it to be slipping out of the shoe when walking or running uphill. And I've seen that before. I've actually seen that happen to people at races where going up a hill, just the shoe came off, the heel came popping right out. Okay, so now we know that is bad. If that has happened to you, you got to check this. Fix the problem. All right, next one, numbness or strain. If the top of your foot feels numb or strained, it's likely that your shoe isn't fitted correctly. You want your shoes to feel comfortable when laced up, and they should be loose enough to allow flexibility and not restrict the blood flow. And next one, and here's me. Ta-da! This guy. This has me all over it. Knee pain. Dun dun dun. Stabbing pain in your knee, especially when running downhill, is a symptom of ill-fitting shoes causing ill-fitting shoes causing unnatural changes to your gait. Oh my goodness, this is a big word. Anyway, it's called IT band. We all know the IT band. I was going to try and say the word and sound really smart and fancy, but I'm not going to do that. It's your IT band. IT band syndrome is an overuse injury involving the IT band, a rope-like tissue that helps stabilize the knee. Although it's not the only cause, improper footwear can often trigger IT band syndrome. And again, in this case, it's not fit. It is simply that these things are out of everything. They are out of cushion. They are out of flex. They're old. They're broken down, and it's time for new shoes, which is what I was trying to do. Next one, deep foot pain. Pain deep in your foot, especially one that gets worse while running, could be a stress fracture. Often, stress fractures in the foot or ankle are caused when there is inadequate support and shock absorption. This is another overuse injury that is commonly caused by wearing the wrong shoes. All right, so next it says, when to replace your running shoes. Well, I'm going to guess anytime you have any of the stuff we just talked about. Running shoes need to be replaced periodically, especially if you want peak physical performance. Here's some signs that it might be time to replace your training shoes. Your running shoes show signs of wear and tear. No kidding. Any running shoes showing signs of excessive wear and tear should be replaced. This includes physical defects, like the treads being worn away, a crease in the midsole, or tears in the toe box. Deterioration also manifests as the running shoe's structural integrity breaks down. This might be the heel cushioning feels harder, or the midsole feeling thinner and more flexible. Your running shoes are too old. The common consensus is that you should replace your running shoes after 300 to 400 miles of use. At this point, a newer pair of shoes is likely to result in considerably better performance. So there we go. Everything I've seen, that magic number starts at 300. Some have gone up to 500, but 300 is where, if you're over that, time to start looking, whether you like the shoes or not. And trust me, there were some shoes I really, really liked. I did a certain marathon in a city that never sleeps in 2021. Those were my most favorite shoes ever. But they eventually had to go. It was sad. Next, you notice new discomfort, pain, or injury, like maybe in your knee. If you experience new or worsening discomfort, pain, or injury during or after running, you should consider replacing your running shoes. So next, how to pick the right running shoes. We can go into this. Why not? Let's see. Let's take a look at some of the different types of running shoes. There's everyday running shoe. These are the most versatile options that are best for everyday use. For people just starting, this is an ideal option. Everyday running shoes come in a variety of styles to support different runners' needs. Some have more cushioning than others, which is good for runners with a history of injuries or simply need a little extra bounce in their step. Lightweight running shoes. The lighter the shoe, the easier it is to run. This is the logic behind the lightweight running shoe, which is the choice for experienced runners looking to maximize their speed. The downside is that these running shoes are more susceptible to wear and tear and the need to be replaced more frequently. Trail running shoes. Those who like to run in nature would benefit from purchasing this type of shoe. Trail running shoes are designed for use on rocky, uneven terrain. These shoes have improved grip and tend to be generally more durable. However, the lungs, the deep treads, tend to be more uncomfortable when running on hard, smooth surfaces like asphalt. So if you get the trail shoes, you can't wear them for your road races, and you don't want to, you don't want to mix it up. You don't want to do the road race shoes on trail because you lose a lot there. So you kind of have to decide, or, and this is just me, you can take a page out of my book and you don't do trail running. because I will trip and fall 100 times. Next one, get properly fitted for running shoes. The best way to know for certain that you have the right fit for your running shoe is to go into a store, talk with a knowledgeable salesperson, and try on different pairs. A reputable athletic store should be able to assist you in determining your running shoe needs. They can help you determine if you have any foot posture issues, as well as recommend different makes and styles. So, okay, well, there's some more. Let's see what to look for in a running shoe. I'll just touch on that real quick. Stability running shoes, which we've already talked about. If your salesperson says you need stability shoes, trust me, you need stability shoes. You can, if you so desire, be like, you know what? I've been wearing stability shoes for a while. I'm going to get just a neutral shoe, just a regular shoe, and I'm going to be able to get one that looks really cool. It's going to be fancy. It's going to be pretty. It's going to have the bright colors, because stability shoes oftentimes are boring as hell. And then you run in those and be like, oh, now everything hurts and everything feels weird and I'm running funny and that's pulling on things that shouldn't be pulling on. I guess I have to go back to my stability shoes. So let me help you skip the middle step where you get the pretty shoes that ultimately don't work and you don't wear very long, and then they just become your mow the lawn shoes or walk around shoes. Just stay in the stability shoes. If that's what they say you need, stay in that, so that you continue to run in the same manner and you don't waste your time or money thinking I'm going to wear normal shoes for a while, because you're not. You're going to go back to stability shoes because you don't get a choice. This is what happens. This is how it works. Don't ask me how I know. Next, motion control shoes. Similar to stability shoes, motion control shoes are great for runners who struggle with their foot posture. Motion control shoes are the most rigid option and also offer significant arch and heel cup support. While stability shoes are good for runners with slight to moderate overpronation, it's that little instep I was talking about, motion control shoes are better for more severe cases. But that additional support means motion control shoes weigh more. These are also excellent for heavier runners and people with flat feet. Okay. Cushioned running shoes. Yeah, that's something. See, that's what I need as well. I need the stability shoes, and I find what has the most cushion, because again, you need that shock absorption. Absorption. I can't talk. But anyway, if you're like me and you are not, this big around and you weigh 90 pounds soaking wet, every time your foot hits, that is a lot of energy and pressure and impact that's just hitting on your foot and going all the way up through your body, up through your leg, through your knee, and continuing up, even hips. So you really want to look at cushion. This is not based in any scientific fact. This is just what I have learned over my now almost 14 years of running. Cushion is a big deal. That, just absorbing that shock is a huge deal and will go a long way towards saving the joints and a lot of the things that can break down. Again, knees and hips are what I'm thinking about the most. So that is really it for the shoe conversation. I hope you found this mildly helpful. Again, I'm going to reiterate, I am certainly no expert. I am not a shoe expert. I'm not a podiatrist, so I'm not a foot expert. This is simply speaking from experience and reading an article from someone who definitely is smarter than me. Take all of this how you will. If any of this kind of rings true to you, then maybe it's time to look at some new shoes. If you think that, maybe I do need to see about getting a stability shoe or one of those overflex or overrun shoes, whatever they were called, ask someone. There are plenty of running shops around town, not as many as there used to be, but there are still shops around town. Seriously, ask somebody if you don't know. It is better to get into the proper shoe that does what it needs to for you than to just grab a pair off the shelf, not talk to anyone, and just be out there running and then wondering why everything hurts. So I have gone through and I am trying to upgrade every shoe that I have because I'm dealing with such knee pain, and it all came up just so quickly. I have got new indoor running cleats, or not running cleats, soccer cleats. So my old soccer cleats, I've been wearing them now for 3 years, and I know I only play once a week, but it's still 3 years, and that's a lot of activity in that hour of play. So I went out and I got new cleats, get the new running shoes, and I'm even going to take my old running shoes, even though they're a little expired, but those will kind of become my everyday walk around shoes. My everyday walk around shoes that I have been wearing, those things were about 10 years old. I kid you not. So they were ancient in the world of shoe and running shoe. And again, I wasn't big on running in them because they weren't stability shoes. They might be a shoe that I wanted to buy way back when and make my running shoe, and then realize I needed a stability shoe. Might have been those. I can neither confirm nor deny. Either which way, the 10-year-old shoes are gone. The old 3-year-old indoor soccer cleats are gone, and new running shoes will happen as soon as I go place the order, as soon as I'm done with this podcast, because apparently I couldn't get them in the store because they had none. There is none, nada, zero zip zilch. So I'm just going to go find what I was previously wearing, get this year's model or even last year's if it's on sale, get a new pair of those, get those in the mail, and away we go. So there we go. I hope any of this helps. If it helps, let me know. If it doesn't help, let me know where I'm wrong, because I'm good with that too. This weekend, I will still be in my old shoes for Rexy Run, and I know, be like, dude, you said all of that, and you're still going to wear your old shoes. If you're doing Rexy Run, remember part of it is unpaved. They've got kind of the crushed gravel part, if memory serves, which I think it does. It has been very rainy this year. High likelihood there's some muddy spots out there. So I'm not going to put any new shoes through that kind of nonsense. We're going to wear the old shoes. One last hurrah, getting through Lawrence and getting through Rexy Run. And then they're going to go the way of the dodo, and I'll have some new shoes. So there we go. I hope you liked it. I hope it was helpful. Next week, we'll be back with another new episode, and we'll break down everything that happens at Rexy Run. But I'm not going to have to tell you much about it because you're going to be there, right? And it's going to be great. So that's going to be it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This has been the Back of the Pack podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Walker. My pleasure as always. This show is brought to you by OKKC Sports and is produced by Katie O'Neill. Again, we'll be back next week. We'll settle up a Rexy Run, and then we're heading right into fall. So I hope you are ready. We will see you next week.